So this video is for the absolute beginner, the ground zero, never really done anything in their life, somebody who wants to start a strength training, a weightlifting, a resistance program. Now the first question should be, why? Well, I'll tell you why. There is nothing you can do that has a more profound, comprehensive, positive impact on your being than a weightlifting program. Now, that is my personal experience, and you can see from some of the stuff that I'm popping up here, there's a lot of support for that assessment. Now, I'm not going to tell you have to or anything else. I'm just going to say that has been what I've experienced. That is what the data is showing. So you make up your own mind as to what you want to do. The first thing to say about starting a weightlifting program, a resistance strength training program, is it should be simple. Now, there has been a great change in fitness since I started out over 50 years ago. There are so many more gyms and they are so much better. I mean, they actually have like heat and air conditioning, which wasn't always around when I was a kid. But there's a downside to this. The downside is there's a lot more people trying to make money off of it. And one of the ways they make money is by creating these complicated, unnecessary exercises. Supplements are another one. You don't need any supplements. But with the exercises specifically, we know what works. We have known what works best, better than anything else since the 60s. I mean, don't forget, Arnold Schwarzenegger won his first Mr. Olympia in 1969. So we know what works. We know what's always worked the best, or at least as long as I've been around. And what that is are compound, multi-joint, natural motions and exercises. The number one compound, multi-joint, natural exercise is back squats or squats. Now, what is a squat? It's such a simple thing. We've all been squatting since we were kids. In fact, you squatted before you could walk. You squatted before you could stand up because you got into a squat position and you stood and you walked. So everybody is familiar with this. And all you're doing is that you're adding resistance to this. And why does it work so well? What is it doing for you? Well, it's the quintessentially natural human motion of locomotion. And when you squat, you put resistance on your shoulders and you're pushing with your feet. And that means everything between those 2 points, between your feet and your shoulders where the resistance is going to be strengthened and developed. That's why it's so extraordinary. That's why it does so much. And if you're going to do anything, if you're going to do one exercise and nothing else, squats are the one to do. Now, after squats, I would put in bench press. Bench press is a great exercise. Bench press is a very natural exercise. It actually comes before squats because you see little babies and kids, they're pushing themselves up off the floor. That's a bench press. All a bench press is a push-up with resistance. You're on a bench with resistance and barbell. And push-ups, by the way, are a great exercise to start with. You can do them at home. You can do them anywhere. I did hundreds and hundreds of push-ups when I was starting out as a kid. I had a little barbell set and I did tons and tons of push-ups. Great exercise. Why use a bench press instead? Because you can change the resistance. A push-up is fixed at your body. If that's too much, you're going to struggle to get started. As you develop, it's not going to be enough to keep you developing. It's also, I would say, the bench press allows a little more control. That may also be just a function of, when you get a heavy weight on a bench press, you have to control yourself more, which you're never going to do with a push-up because it's limited to your body weight. But definitely bench press is number two. That's it develops the front of your torso musculature, your triceps, your pectorals, and your frontal deltoids. Next, overhead press. Now, I can't think of anything natural motion that we commonly do, but reaching overhead is a very normal thing to do. Reaching up like this, we do it all the time, and you want to include that as well. And the difference is with the overhead press, you're going to get the frontal deltoid, you're going to get tricep as well, but you're also going to get medial deltoid. So that's when you want to include the front of the body. The push motions do have more separate muscle groups than the back of the body, the pull motions, and the back of the body involves the lats, the back. The lats are the muscle that give you your V. There's more muscles involved in the back than the lats, but everybody just refers to it as lats. Now, they're not as separated as the chest and shoulders, but you do want to do more than one angle. So the first one I would say for the back is a pull-up, which it translates in to weightlifting as a lat pull down. Now, a pull-up, again, good motion, again, restricted by body weight. The other thing I would say about doing a pull down versus a pull-up or any of the back exercises in a machine is that you have more control. I always find when I do pull-ups, I'm spending more time trying to keep myself from swinging than I am really doing the pull-up. If you're good at that stuff, great. If you're one of those people who love them, great. There's nothing wrong with excellent exercise. I prefer to work on the machines. Now, as I said, the back does not have the discrete separate muscle groups the same as like chest and shoulders, pecs and deltoids, but it has a significant range of motion. The angles, like you can pull down this way, you can pull this way, you can pull in between. So I would suggest that you're not going to do an overhead press and a bench press, but you should use multiple angles, more than one angle when you're doing your back exercises. Now, I would never suggest to anyone, a beginner, somebody who's just starting out, that you would use free weights. You should not be starting out doing barbell back squats. There is too much to learn. It's so much easier to use machines to figure out what your body is doing, because weightlifting, while it is not an intellectually demanding task, it is a mentally demanding task. You have to figure out how to use your body at its maximum capacity. And you can see the mental preparation that's required. If you ever watch any kind of strength competition, the guys have to psych themselves up and focus in. The guys, the girls, whoever is doing it has to psych themselves up and focus in on what they're doing. So you do have to learn that. And that is why I would recommend everybody who is a beginner start out on machines. I started on machines. It's a great way to go. It's more controlled. It's safer in that the control makes it safer. You don't have to worry about hopefully dropping anything on yourself. Though I'm sure someone out there has figured out how to drop a machine on themselves. But it allows you to learn the motions and your body in much easier manner. And so what you're going to be looking for then is to translate the free weight motions, back squat, bench press, into machines. And that's pretty easy. As far as back squats, I would use a hack squat. Now, a hack squat is anything where there's a shoulder pad up here supporting you. The weight is on your shoulders like that. And the reason you want to do that instead of a leg press is a leg press, the chain of force stops here. Now, we all know that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if you're doing leg presses, you're not developing the link up here, which means you could get strong legs and have a weak back, which means you have weak legs. The hack squat will develop the entire musculature, the entire structure, all the way down from the shoulders to your feet. And that's what you want to do. The next one for bench press, vertical chest press. Vertical chest press just means that your torso is vertical. You're pushing this way. Great exercise. Hammer Strength makes some machines that I really love. But again, you just go pick out the one you like. We'll talk about that in just a second. After that, we're going to talk about shoulder press. Shoulder press, I've never found any particular machine or motion that I like, except for really old junky ones. I have no idea who made them. They sit around in the corner, and when I try them, they feel much better than the newfangled stuff. But again, we're going to have to experiment and see what's available in your gym and what you like. Finally, back. And back, as I said, there's three basic motions. You're going to do a row, or you can do a row, you can do a pull down, and you can do, some people call it high row. I call it an incline pull down, but you're at an angle between the vertical and the horizontal, pulling the weight in that way. Now, when you first come into the gym or you're taking your tour, keep your eyes open for those kinds of machines. Where are they? How many are there? There's frequently more than one type in the gym. When you first go in on your own, try them out. Sit down in them, or stand in them, whatever it is, which one you're doing. Play with the adjustments. Figure out the adjustments. Don't use any weight now. Just use the machine light and just feel how it feels to you. What is it doing? What is your body doing? Get that out of the way first. And you're going to do that. It depends on the person, a few weeks, maybe. I wouldn't probably go more than a few weeks. You're just going to go in and do one each, a hack squat machine, a chest press machine, one of your back machines, and then a shoulder machine. And notice I put back between shoulders and chest. Remember how I said they train a lot of the shoulders and chest have some overlap in the muscles they train. So you want to have a separation there. Otherwise, if you do, say, chest and then shoulders, your shoulders are going to be tired right after chest. So put that break and exercise in there before you go to your shoulders. But you're going to get on the machines, you're going to figure out how they work, and then you're going to be figuring out how you work, because that is a big part of this, is figuring out how your body works, how you push, how you get the most out of yourself. As I said, this is mentally very demanding. How long you have to do that, familiarize yourself with your body and how your body moves and what it feels like to make it move, I can't tell you. A few weeks, maybe even a few months, but gradually you want to start adding in some resistance. At first, you're just going to do like 3 sets of 10, no real resistance. Maybe just pull the pin right out of the stack if you're using a machine that has a stack, and just do that and figure it out. And gradually increase the resistance, get a feel for how your body's working. When you feel like you're figuring that out, how your body moves, how it's working, then you can start doing a program. And your program's going to be actually fairly simple. So the program. A program is, exercises, sets, and reps. When you go in, you're going to go in 3 days a week, and you should be doing this from the beginning. 3 days a week, no 2 days consecutive. On your off days, I would also recommend that you do some activity. You don't want your energy to go way up when you're going to the gym and then crash when you're not on the days you're not in the gym. So go for a walk. You can even run to the gym and just walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes or something. That actually can kind of help, because one of the things that you need to get used to is getting that pattern of getting to the gym. But do something on your off day. So 3 days a week, no 2 days consecutive, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever works for you. And you're going to go in and you're going to do one of the exercise of the four machines you picked out: one hack squat, one chest press, one back exercise, and then a shoulder press. Those are the 4 things you're going to do. The first exercise you're going to do 12 reps, 10, 8, 6, 4. Now the 12, 10, 8, 6 are less than the maximum number you can do. So you're not going to go to failure. And it might be, if you could do, say, 12 3/4, you do 12. But you do not want to have failure in any of those. You don't want failure at all. But all of those are slightly less than the most reps you can do. The set of 4 is when you do as many reps as you can do. And your goal is to be building up reps on that set of 4, because that is your test set. And when you reach 6 reps on your set of 4, then you're going to say, yeah, it's time to increase the weight. And you increase the weight appropriately to maintain the reps and get yourself back to that set of 4 on the last one. Now, the rest of your exercises, you're going to do 12, 10, 8, 6. No 4, because it's only going to be the first one that you're really going to push yourself all out. Obviously, if you kept to that pattern, one body part would develop better than the rest. So you're going to alternate. You're going to have, say, you go in on Monday and it's legs, chest, back, shoulders. That's the 4 exercises you do. When you go in on Wednesday, it's going to be chest, back, shoulders, legs. And then when you go in, say, on Friday, where we have a back, shoulders, legs, chest. And then finally, we're going to get the shoulders, legs, chest, back. And then that Wednesday, you're back to legs again. So when you're doing that set of 4 and you get to 6, you need that 2 workouts in a row before you go up, because you might just be having a really good workout and you don't want to be going up, down, up, down. You want to have it steady. You want to have that foundation solid before you try and build anything more on top of it. So you need 2 workouts in a row of getting to those 6 reps. And that would be, in this case, if we said legs on Monday, if you get 6 the following Wednesday, you're ready to go up. So that's pretty much the fun stuff. Now to the nitty gritty, what really makes this work. You have to get yourself to the gym and you have to learn how to engage with your body. And I'm going to tell you right now, it takes time. Don't rush it. It takes time. Also, you are going to fail. You are going to miss workouts. You're going to miss weeks of workouts, maybe. Who knows, months. That's okay. You can always go back. They're not going to lock you out of the gym. The important thing to realize is that this is a cumulative endeavor that you're engaging in. It's not 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. It's years that you're trying to do. So you can always go back. The only time you actually lose is if you give up. If you fail, that's okay. You can try again. So be prepared for that. Don't get down on yourself. And, I would draw the analogy to smoking. I used to smoke. I tried to quit many, many times. I failed many, many times. But every time I failed, I learned something. For that one time only, I needed to succeed. Now, that's the approach you have to take. It's always there. In that vein, we have to talk about the dreaded S word, self-discipline, what a lot of people call willpower. They'll say, oh, it's not about willpower. Yes, it is about willpower. It is about self-discipline. It's about ego too. I consider ego self-respect. That's my view on it. And, nobody else is going to make you do this. You're going to have to make yourself do this. That's the harsh reality. The positive side to that harsh reality is you can teach yourself self-discipline. You can learn willpower. I mean, when I started at 12 years old, do you think I had the self-discipline that I have now? I mean, I was a kid, but I kept at it, And I can tell you that the way to do that is to be honest with yourself. Don't buy your own bullshit. Don't make excuses. If you miss a workout, you miss a workout. Get annoyed with yourself. Get pissed at yourself. Get disgusted with yourself. Whatever. But then resolve not to let that happen again. Don't ignore it, and don't make up some garbage line about, oh, I was too busy, whatever. You choose what to do with your time in your life. You choose what's valuable in your life. You're the only one who can make this happen. And you don't have to do it all at once, and you shouldn't try and do it all at once. I've seen lots of people who dive in crazy and they just burn themselves out. Take your time. It's a progression over many years of figuring out how to make this work for you. And the most important thing, as I said, is to be honest with yourself, accept when you make a mistake, accept when you fail at something, and then learn from that to do better the next time. Now, I'm just going to say quickly, diet is important, and I'm not going to talk about it because that subject is deserving of many, many videos all on its own. The one thing I will say is you need to get to it eventually, but concentrate on getting this figured out first. Get yourself to the gym. Figure out how to make your body work. Start becoming invested in this. If you want to know when this starts getting easier, and quote easier, it's when you start to see this as something you are and not something you do. When you start to invest yourself in this, that is when you will really start to progress and see some long-term, lifelong positive changes and results. The thing about diet is once you start that first process, diet is kind of the same thing. So you can take those skills, that self-discipline and all these other skills that you learned, you can take that and apply it to diet and get even better results. So that's basically it. That's how you get started. You can go beyond this if you want. You can stay at this. I mean, for a lot of people, what I have outlined is plenty for them. That's all they need to do or all they want to do. I would kind of prefer to see people go to free weights eventually because they are more effective. Squats in particular, again, the most effective exercise, strength building exercise you can do is a back squat, but it's not necessary. If you follow this program, you've got everything to do what you want or to, progress beyond that. It's all up to you. Enjoy the video? Let me know. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.